Hello and welcome back to yet another episode of What's in a Story. And to exactly find that, let's turn a corner and discover as we reach beyond several fascinating narratives like laws, myths and legends and try to understand many related big and prominent as well as small but important facts about history, literature and languages, festivals, beliefs and customs, relations and relationships, and many such things of our socio-cultural ethos, which creates the larger picture. These narratives are from present, the immediate past, and long past, and are from my books, from my work across India and South Asia, and I hope you really enjoy listening to them as much as I did when I heard them the very first time. About today's story. This is a story from my book Collected Stories of Upendrakishore Ray Chowdhury by Aleph Book Company. This book is an English translation of all the 63 stories of the two Bengali books by Upendrakishore, Tuntuni, which was published in 1910, and Golpomala, which was published somewhere between 1910 and 12. The book Tuntuni is a collection of fables, while Golpomala has not only fables but many folklore from across the world, which Upendrakishore rewrote in Bengali. Many of these stories were part of Bengali children's magazine, Sandesh, which was started by him but unfortunately stopped at his untimely death. It was revived by his son Sukumar Ray once again, but once again stopped as Sukumar Ray suddenly passed away at a very young age. Finally, many years later, it was revived by Upendrakishore's grandson, Satyajit Ray. Upendrakishore specially collected these stories for both Tuntuni and Golpomala from various parts of Moymonsinho district, which is in present-day Bangladesh. Upendrakishore was a prolific writer, poet, illustrator and publisher, and his name is specially known in the area of children's literature in Bengali. He was also the first printer and publisher to introduce modern block making, including half-tone and color block making in South Asia. He is the father of noted writer, poet and illustrator Sukumar Ray and grandfather of auteur Bharat Ratna and Oscar awardee Satyajit Ray. This story, like the rest of the stories from the same book Tuntuni has been a part of Bengali folklore across centuries. This story is still famous in the regions of eastern India as well as Bangladesh and also within the diaspora across the world wherever Bengali is spoken. The story is also a symbolic representation of the struggles which Indians endured during the British colonial times and the many unjust, oppressive and coercive rules, regulations and taxations which made them suffer severely, and thus these were also criticized across India. Today's story by Upendrakishore is also in celebration of his birth anniversary. He was born on May 12th in 1863 in the village of Moshua in Moymonsinho district of erstwhile Bengal. This is in present-day Bangladesh. Born as Komodaranjan Ray to Kalinath Ray, he was adopted at 5 years of age by Horikishore, a relative and also a zamindar in Moymonsinho. Horikishore renamed Komudaranjan as Upendrakishore and also added the surname Ray Chowdhury as a suffix. To maintain the essence of today's story, some Bengali words have been kept as they are even in this English translation. For the listeners who may not understand, here's a small explanation about specific Bengali words used within the story. Tuntuni, Tailor Bird. Raja, Maharaj or Raja Moshai are all synonyms for a king. Rani, Queen, Taka in this context speaks about a muhur, which is an old metal currency made from gold. Muhur was formerly minted by several governments including British India and some of the princely states which existed alongside it. It was usually equivalent in value to 15 silver rupees. It was last minted in British India in 1918, but some princely states continued to issue the coins until their accession to India after 1947. The story, The Tailor Bird and the King. Tuntuni or Rajar Kotha. Tuntuni had built his nest in a corner of the king's garden. One day, all the taka, that is money, from the king's treasure chest had been spread on the terrace to be aired. And when the workers returned in the evening to collect the taka, they mistakenly left one taka behind. Tuntuni's eyes fell on the shiny disc. As he scooped it up in his beak and brought it back to his nest, he thought to himself, I am such a rich man now. The great king and I both own the same treasure. And he began singing. Same as the Raja's treasure, Tuni has in his home and sings in pleasure. At that moment, the Raja was holding court. He asked his ministers, "Listen, what exactly is that tailor bird saying?" The frightened courtiers replied with folded hands, "Maharaj, the bird says that he owns the same treasure as the king." The Raja laughed loudly and then thundered, "Go and search his nest." The courtiers soon returned with the information. "Maharaj, there is a taka in his nest." The king was furious. He bellowed, "Well, that is part of my treasure too. Go and bring it back to me." And immediately the courtiers went to fetch the taka from Tuntuni's nest. Now, what else can one do? Sad, very sad. Tuntuni began to sing. "The Raja is such a miser. He even took away Tuni's treasure." Now, the king heard this new song and he said sarcastically, "That bird is very stubborn. Go and return the taka." Once the coin was back in his nest, this time Tuntuni was happy again. And he began to sing. "The Raja got scared, thus Tuni's taka was spared." Hearing Tuntuni sing once again, the Raja asked, "Now, what is he saying?" All the courtiers replied, "He's saying that the Raja returned Tuntuni's taka because he is afraid." "How dare he say such a thing?" fumed the Raja. "Bring him immediately. I want to fry him and eat that bird." The courtiers immediately marched off and came back to the court with Tuntuni as a captive. Clasping Tuntuni tightly in his palm, the Raja handed him over to his 7 queens and ordered, "Go and fry this bird and serve him to me for lunch." In the meanwhile, the 7 Ranis were delighted to see the little tiny bird. One of them remarked, "Oh, what a bird! Do let me see." And as she took Tuntuni in her hands, the rest gathered all around her to have a closer look. And just as he was being passed to the next Rani, clever Tuntuni slipped out of their hands and flew away. Oh my goodness! Now what will happen? The Raja will spare none if he gets even an inkling about this. Just as the 7 Ranis sat lamenting about their terrible fate, they spotted a frog hopping by. They caught the frog in a jiffy and whispered amongst themselves, "Quiet, quiet. No one should know about this. We will take this frog and fry him and serve it to the king. He will think that he has feasted upon Tuntuni." And as decided, the Ranis cleaned and cooked the frog, and the king was satisfied with his lunch. Now, I have taught that little imp a good lesson for life, the king thought to himself as he returned to court after a hearty meal. And right at that moment, he once again heard Tuntuni singing loudly. "Oh, what fun, what fun! A fried frog is what the Raja feasted upon." The Raja was livid. He jumped up with disgust, spat, and tried to vomit and rinsed his mouth and did all sorts of antics. "Off with the noses of all the 7 Ranis," he thundered with rage. The executioner immediately chopped off all 7 noses of all 7 Ranis. Seeing the pandemonium, Tuntuni started to sing again. "Tun tun, a song Tuni composes, as the 7 Ranis lose their noses." Go and catch hold of that imp. This time I will swallow it alive. Let me see how he escapes," the fuming Raja bellowed. The soldiers once again caught hold of Tuntuni and handed him over to the Raja, who then hollered, "Get me some drinking water." Someone ran and fetched some water. The Raja took a large swig, pushed Tuntuni inside his mouth, closed his eyes, and swallowed the bird with a large gulp. Finally, the bird has been taught a lesson, the ministers thought. But right then, the Raja Mashai belched loudly. The loud noise startled the courtiers. They watched Tuntuni shoot out of the king's mouth and fly away in the blink of an eye. There, catch, catch, catch!" the Raja shouted. Nearly 200 people ran after Tuntuni, captured him once again, and brought him again to the Raja. Once again, water was fetched, and this time a sepoy stood close by with his sword, raised near the king's mouth in preparation to chop Tuntuni into two if the mischievous bird tried to escape again. This time, when the Raja gulped down Tuntuni, he covered his mouth with both hands. Poor Tuntuni. He wiggled inside the king's stomach. All that movement but made the king feel rather sick. Finally, he just couldn't take it any longer. He screwed his nose and vomited, and out came the bird and his entire meal. Sepoy, Sepoy, catch, kill, it's flying away. The bewildered Sepoy, flustered by the sudden chaos, couldn't trace the bird's exact location. He raised his rapier and brought it down sharply, the blade straight on the king's nose. The Raja sprang up in pain. The courtiers shouted in unison. Finally, the royal doctor was summoned. The nose was wrapped in bandages and medicines were prescribed. Watching the scene, Tuntuni began to sing once again. The noseless Raja, what a plight! Now you see it serves you right. And with these final words, clever Tuntuni flew far, far away from the kingdom. All the king's men ran to his nest only to find it abandoned.